What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today, and welcome to Billy Goat Ranch. Well, what is a work in progress of it? This is made by Baked Minotaurs. Amazing name, by the way. I've never seen that one before. And this is just a work in progress track, which is most of the height map, obviously no objects, environment, and such. And I believe that he's just releasing it to really get some feedback, but it looks very, very promising. Now, you can't see from the height level that I'm flying over the map right now, but this entire place is so whooped out. If I quickly fly down, let's have a little zoom down to the ground. You can see just how whooped out the track is. Like, it's a full flowy sand track. And apparently this is a almost replica of Mike. Is it Picone? Pichone? Picone? Pichone? I'm not too sure. I really do apologise. Please don't slate or hate me too much in the comments. But this is more of a replica of his practice track, essentially. So we've got a full sand track over the back there. We've got this more turn track type area here. Or it could be over there, and there is a wooded loop as well. So I'm going to do a little bit of everything, see how it goes, and try and give my feedback and see what can be improved upon for the final result. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit today as well. We are on the Husky 350 for a change. Now, usually when I'm on the Husky, I'm riding the 430, but not the case today. I just thought I'd mix it up a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Obviously, it's very, very, very basic. It is just like a layout. That's not a very good start for me at all, is it? So if just reading through the description right here, it says that this place contains a full-blown sand track, which I think is the more bigger scale, like national-esque type track, where it's got a turn track and it's got a wooded trails track. The last two of those are both unfinished. So I'm unsure if this is more of the turn track and the other sandy area is the wooded trail, or if this is the wooded trail and it's just obviously missing all the trees and such. But it's really, really good. It's nice. If this is the turn track, it's nicer to get like a longer one for a change. Usually a lot of turn tracks in compounds and stuff, they're very, very like small, you know, they don't sprawl very long. But for someone like me who is a bit of a weirdo and likes their single track stuff, I could quite happily spend a long time just going back and forth on myself around here, no problem at all. I'm not going to waste your guys' time on it too much, because as you can see, very, very basic stuff. It's all really the beginnings of it and just height map. But I think once you get a whole bunch of trees slapped in there, it will look very, very nice. Now, there's no center lines or timing gates or anything on this track, so I've not got a like a map at the top right for me to cheat and use. So if I jump off the track or if I like overshoot corners and things like that, please do forgive me. This is my very first time going around here. I'm not even sure to like what way around the track's meant to be going. I'm hoping that some of the jump faces will indicate that for me. And I can already tell, looking at how whooped out and rollery this is, I'm probably going to have a lot of fun on this. I do enjoy, like, sand tracks on this game. They've been growing on me recently. Obviously, when Beta 17 first released, they was like near impossible to play. You know, it was not a fun time whatsoever. But they've been getting better and better with all the tyre updates, and I think I personally have been getting slightly better at them as well. I'm trying to hear. Let me listen a little bit. Let me get off the throttle and just roll. Yeah, no, it is definitely sand traction. I was just making sure, because I always like the idea of having like a whooped out sand height map, but then making it normal soft soil so it flows better. But it is sand traction as well. I can hear it. That's sad, isn't it? That I can just tell from the sound what soil type it is. It's just where it's different, and I've spent far too much time. But this looks great so far. It's really nice. So, Baked Minotaurs made this, and I've never heard that name before in my life, or I come across it in MX Bikes at all, so possibly a new guy to the scene. He does say in the track description that it's their first time trying to create a track/compound, so I believe there's been nothing released prior to this. But I'll tell you what, for a first attempt and having done basically half a lap so far, I'm liking this. I'm liking this as a base a hell of a lot, and I imagine once there's a full-blown immersive environment added into it as well, it will be even more enjoyable. One thing that I think will have to be, well, it depends how strict he wants to make it, is with objects and stuff. Obviously, you could be very sneaky and just run like a low line all the way on the grass, for example. So I'm not sure if he wants to slap any objects in there along the side to limit that, whether they be bales or maybe just track markers and stakes and things like that. One thing that, obviously, if anybody watches my sim videos, you might notice. So the enduro tracks and tracks that I play made by Matthias Lidman or Lidzor, one thing that he does is every now and then, so say this is edge of the track, maybe about here, and then if we move up the road a little bit, maybe out here as well, he'll put like a really sharp bump. So if you are trying to scumbag it and go off the side of the track and cut corners and such, you will hit that bump and absolutely wad yourself, go over the bars and crash, which I've not seen anyone do in bikes yet, but could be a very, very good solution to people track cutting. Because it's not so bad on your average everyday track, but when you get the sand tracks that are basically just rutted and whooped out the entire way round, like Lommel and like Lierop, for example, there will always be a smooth line somewhere that people will find and people will try and abuse. So I just think that's a good way of changing that, because I know I myself, especially if it's in like a racing sense, I will try and be as close to off the edge of the track as possible without actually going off the edge though. Try and pride myself on having a little bit of dignity. I think the dirtiest thing I do in this game is, obviously on Forest, I take that a little bit of a naughty line, low line in the uphill triple, but I like to think I'm fairly well behaved outside of that. And that was at lap already, so it took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I'm pretty sure that's just because I'm absolutely spoding right now. I do apologise, I'm squidding and not doing this much justice, but I'm sure that you guys can get a bit of an idea of how fun and flowy this would be once you know where you're going. And I think that's another thing that objects and environment really help with, is just knowing where the track turns, which way it goes, up and over that. And I think as well, in terms of scaling, I've done a very, very good job, because I don't feel like the 350 right now is massively overkill. I feel like there's a lot of room for error in jumps in terms of coming up short or jumping too far. So then that kind of makes it perfect for every bike. You know, you can hop on the 350 or 450 and jump a bit long. You can hop on a 250 or maybe a 125. I mean, 125 might be a little bit of a stretch with the sand traction. But yeah, they should be able to get around the track okay. I just love bits like this, like parts of the track where you generally get forced to slow down for once, which you don't get a whole lot of anymore. Like, everybody just wants to go faster and faster and faster, and I think I'm a little bit of a minority in that regard. I would rather have a much, much rougher track that I physically have to get off of the throttle and maybe try and double my way over braking bumps into corners. I'd much rather that, especially in a racing sense, than tracks that are just wide open, like the old Baja, for example. No disrespect to Hurren by any means. Like, Baja is a very iconic track in this game, and it is a track that from time to time I absolutely love hopping on and running for some laps. But in terms of competition and pushing myself, I do much prefer the more technical and tricky tracks in the game. That's just my opinion. Let me know down below what you prefer. Like, what out of any track that you could play in this game, let's say Supercross, whether it's like stock tracky type ones, maybe you're more of like a Fat Muppet track type enjoyer where they're more for the casual intermediate level player, or maybe if you like tracks like JV's tracks, for example, which tend to be a lot more on the difficult side. You know, he's released like the MXGP of Oz, the Russian track as well, just tracks like that. Just what are your favourite tracks to play and enjoy in the game? Are you someone who just likes to hop on for 10-20 minutes now and then and throw her upside down and sideways and go as fast as possible, or are you a bit like me where you prefer the tight, twisty, more technical things? I'm very, very curious, because I think a majority of the people that watch my videos, at least, tend to prefer the wide open tracks, which I'm not surprised by. I don't blame you guys. It's a lot more of a fun, arcadey experience than trying to make it truer to real life. But yeah, very, very curious, very interested to see what results come out of that. Now, I won't lie, in terms of height map, I'm actually really enjoying this. I don't really think there's much I would suggest changing. You know, I think he's got the roughness pretty bang on. It's deep enough to make it challenging, but it's not stupid to the extent where you'll randomly get sent right over the handlebars flying off the track. It's predictable rough, which I imagine is very difficult to do, so I can only imagine how much testing went into this. Send that one, and I like... Obviously, I've never seen this track IRL. I know it exists IRL because it's a almost replica. I want to say those are his words, not mine. He's saying it's not 100% truthful, but it's very, very close. So the actual track layout itself, I really, really enjoy. It's nice. I'm going to have to go on YouTube after this and do some searching and see if I can find any GoPros of this. I'm not sure if they do exist, but I'd absolutely love to see like an actual pro or someone really, really fast IRL rip around here. Because although whilst I hate riding sand tracks myself in real life, I absolutely love seeing people that are actually good in it rip them. Like, anytime I can see a Hurlin's GoPro in the sand, I'm all over that bad boy. You know, that is basically like porn to me. That is one of the best things you can watch in terms of motocross in general, and it's really, really nice. Don't go for the bars there, and I like that in a couple of corners we've got more than one rut. I know this is, it does give off definitely a private track feel where you got sections like this where it filters down to one line, which is very, again, it's realistic. It's exactly what would happen in real life if this is more of a back garden type track for you, although it does say in the description it's just located in a massive sandpit, but I'm guessing this is Mike's sandpit. You know, it's probably just him for the most part riding here. It's good, it's impressive, I like it a hell of a lot, and I can't imagine just how pretty it will look as well once all of the objects and trees and stuff have been added in. I think that will look really, really nice, and it'll be interesting to see once the height map is all finished off on the wooded track and the turn track as well, how good that will be. Let me shoot over here to this other track. Obviously, this is unfinished as well, and I'm not sure which way round it's meant to go, but this looks like hella whooped out. I'm very interested to have a look at this. Let's jump in there. Well, actually, do we think that goes? You know what? I'm gonna brave it. I'm gonna make a decision and just pretend that it goes this way. I have absolutely no idea. I mean, the faces of these, let's say, whooped out rollers, they feel fine. You know, they don't feel too sharp or anything like that. They don't feel like I should be riding them backwards. Or maybe that's something that will be like a first, I suppose, a track that you can ride both ways, no problem at all. Over this, bra, bra, bra. So it's not really, I want to say a lot of these rollers through here, they're not really doubleable as such. You can get your front wheel quite high and get it on top, but in terms of actually doubling up and over, I think it would take someone a bit more skilled than I to actually do that. But again, it's not crazy rough to the point of it's unpredictable and you're just going to watch yourself anywhere. It's just that right amount that for me is really enjoyable, and you can spin a handful of laps, learn the layout of the track, learn what goes where and what parts you can double and not double, and learn from it and get a really nice flow going, which is part of the reason that, so Lommel and Learock for me, terrible tracks to race on, may I add, because of all the cuts and problems they have. But in terms of just general tracks to play, they are some of the best ones in the game. You know, trying to find that smooth line and the fastest line, or doubling round corners on sand tracks, is so satisfying to me in this game. Really, really do enjoy it. Around here, I don't even think I've not even completed a lap of this yet. This track's longer than I expected it to be. It's a lot slower pace though, which is actually quite enjoyable for me. It's a nice switch up from the usual. Back on the throttle here, just trying to stay light. I'm just trying to flow, trying to look ahead. Oh, that jumps across the track. I thought I'd gone wrong there. Ah, then what do we do here? Guessing we turn left. Looks like it makes the most sense. And left again, maybe? Do we jump back across? We do. That's cool. I like that. And I'm not sure if there's going to be any more work done to, like, on-track decals, for example. I imagine that they could be made tiny bit prettier. So this is, I've got reshade on right now. If I turn it off, you can see like just how dark it gets. Now, I'm not sure, I'm not a pro on Florida sand. I don't know the exact color of it. Just, but sand in my eyes should just be that tiny bit lighter, maybe. I do apologize for those of you that are getting just your retina's burnt out by the light skybox with my reshade settings. Someone did comment that on yesterday's video with the Supercross tracks. It had like almost like a pure white skybox. That must have been quite painful. But I just think it makes the game look pretty overall. I don't want to. It's so hard for me to switch it off now that I've used it for so long, because I feel like everything looks so bland and grey and boring. But you know what? Baked Minotaurs. I still love that name. I think what you've got here for a first track is bloody impressive, and you've got a little bit of a gem sitting on your hands here. So take your time on it. Don't rush it. Like, really iron everything out, get all the testing that needs to be done, and make it look pretty. I think that's all really you've got to do. Now, the height maps themselves, I really enjoy. Maybe in this track right here that I'm on, I know full well that it says it's unfinished. I'm not sure on how much by. I'm not sure if you already planned on doing this, but maybe 1 or 2 ruts in some of the corners could be nice. Obviously not massive normal dirt ruts, but you know, them kind of like built up sand rut / berms that you get IRL would be really, really nice, and just help assist you or assist people getting around that track a little bit quicker. So I feel like in turns like this, I'm tiptoeing my way around at the moment. Whereas, you know, if you're riding sand IRL, you're trying to get on your gas as soon as possible, but also as smoothly as possible, and hit any little bit of banking that you can. But it's really, really good. I enjoyed this much more than I thought I would. And when it comes to work in progress tracks on this game, usually I try and steer clear from them, because I try and put myself in like a viewer's shoes, so like you guys, and especially when it comes to thumbnails and things like that, and I'm like, would I be interested to watch someone play a track that's work in progress and not finished? But when I saw a picture of it on MXP Mods, I was like, you know what, that actually looks quite a lot better than all the other work in progress tracks that I've seen before, so why not? Let's give it a go. Really enjoyed this. Thank you very much for releasing it for us. I can't wait to see the final result, and like I said, don't feel obligated or rushed by any means. Don't feel like you have to get it out as soon as possible. Some of the best tracks in this game have literally taken people half a year plus to complete, so by all means take your time and make it something really, really special. And if you do release anything further than this in the future, I will be more than happy to hop on straight away and give it a go, because this has been really, really fun. Thank you again for making this. Thank you for you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Definitely go give it a go yourself, and give any feedback on the post on MXB Mods. You know, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I'm sure that's the reason why he's put it on there in the first place. And thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you guys are up to. And until I catch you in the next video, peace.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain. Even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want.